Play for each other. Play for one another, man. Last game was last game. Falcons Nation, Rise Up Nation, it's your boy, Jazzy Jeff. Real talk, no gimmicks. And before I start this video, I just want to say something real quick. Falcons Nation, we can disagree until the cows come home. We can say, you don't know what you're talking about, or I disagree, or I don't have that same opinion, or whatever it is. That's fine. But insulting our own fan base, we better than that. What are we doing insulting each other? Personal attacks on each other. We're supposed to be a Falcons Nation family. And last time I checked, yeah, you might disagree with your family, but you don't insult them. That's your family. So that's all I'm going to say on that, man. We got to be better than that. Anyways, back to this breakdown. Falcons versus Philadelphia Eagles in Atlanta. Now, obviously, we got beat up pretty bad by the Vikings, but you know what? It's all good. That's 1 week. So you know what we do? We get up, we dust ourselves off, wipe that blood off our lip, and let's get back to fighting again. Because now we got the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, they beat the Washington Redskins, but that wasn't a cakewalk. The Redskins had them on the ropes at halftime, and obviously the Eagles came back. So I'm going to get the key points on how we can use that to our advantage for this game. So my first point I want to bring up is Case Keenum. Jazzy Jeff, why are you bringing up Case Keenum in a Falcons-Eagles preview? Because this man had 380 yards against the Eagles, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Now, I say that to say this. Our game, how many turnovers did we have? Matt Ryan had 2 picks, Freeman had a fumble, we had a blocked punt, the list goes on. So what I learned from the Redskins game and why they were in that game and hanging with the Eagles was that they had 0 turnovers the entire game. The Redskins had 0 fumbles, 0 interceptions, and were in the game most of the time. And so Case Keenum took care of the ball. Another reason why I bring him up is that in that game, 2 out of 3 Redskin players, the top receivers on their team, one was a tight end, one was a running back. Vernon Davis and Chris Thompson. Now, why do I say that? I say it because that is where the Eagles are susceptible when it comes to their defense. We are not going to try to outpower the Eagles on the defensive line. Their defensive line is way too strong. And I know Malik Jackson's not playing this game, but they still have Fletcher Cox. They still have Barnett. They still have a whole bunch of people on that line. And let's be honest. We just lost Chris Lindstrom, and we are not a power-running football team. So, with that said, let's not work to our deficiencies. Let's work to our strengths. And use the Redskins blueprint. They used Chris Thompson in space. They didn't even play Adrian Peterson. So they went with the smaller pass-catching back, and they also used their tight ends. Why do I say that? Because I want to go to Ito Smith a lot quicker in this game. Devontae Freeman, if he starts to do what he did last game, fumbling the ball or missing gaps or just not running well, we can use Ito Smith to neutralize the aggressiveness of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's how we're going to win this game. And then we will take advantage of their corners. So don't try to play into their game. They want us to try to run the ball on them so they can put us back and down in distance, and then they're going to try to tee off on Matt Ryan. That's what they want to do. And what we should do is counter that with screens, wide receiver screens, draw plays, passes out of the backfield, going to the tight ends, and not force feeding Julio Jones. That's another reason why we got in trouble last game. We tried early to just, hey, it's Julio Jones. We just paid him a lot of money. Let's just start peppering him. No, the Vikings wanted us to do that, and we played right into their hands. So that's one of the reasons why I'm bringing up Case Keenum and what we can learn from him. My second point is that our defense. We had to have a low-scoring game and limit the Eagles' offense. Keep Carson Wentz in that offense off the field. Now, how do we do that? Here's how we do it. Because the Eagles, they think that Deshaun Jackson is obviously a deep threat, right? So they want us to play back on that. And we shouldn't, because the Eagles are really going to just run down their throat. That's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to use what the Vikings used against us. And that was running the football. Obviously, the Eagles use RPOs. They line up in shotgun most of the time, and Carson Wentz has a running back next to him. And when he RPOs, it's mostly to throw out of the RPO. But don't let that fool you, because against our team, we have a smaller, obviously we have a smaller line. We have smaller linebackers. So I think the Eagles are going to try to run out of that formation a lot. Now, when I say limit the Eagles' offense, what do I mean by that? Carson Wentz, don't get me wrong, is still going to take 2-3 deep chances to Deshaun Jackson. And obviously we're going to be ready for those. But don't let you think that that's the steady diet of what they do. They don't drop back and throw deep as many times as you think they do. I went back and watched the game. It was a lot of passes, short passes to the running backs, the tight ends. Even Alshon and Aguilar were running smaller break-off routes, curl routes, in routes. So the only times they went deep was to Deshaun Jackson, and that was few and far between. So we shouldn't expect a steady diet there. I think they are going to try to run down our throats just like the Vikings did. And so we got to be disciplined in our run gaps. And we usually don't get beat anyways. We're a good team. Every time we play the Eagles, they never really beat us deep. It's usually a low-scoring game. So if we keep it low-scoring, just like we did the other two times, we have a great chance of winning this game. Also, on defense, what we got to look out for is, when I went back and watched the tape on the Eagles, they run the same exact zone running scheme, toss sweep that the Vikings ran on us, that just gashed us for big runs. This is something that our linebackers coach preached, that he said we got fixed in practice, and it was just guys out of our gaps. He said it wasn't the hustle. He said it wasn't the effort. It was just guys missing their assignments and obviously missing the contain. One of those people, it was Tack McKinley. His job on those plays is to set the edge to force the Dalvin Cook back inside, and he did not do that. He bit inside, and Dalvin Cook had an easy corner to just run around. The Eagles are going to try to do the same thing, so Tack McKinley is very important in his discipline. He sometimes is way too aggressive, and he goes inside, and that plays right into the Vikings' hands when they bounced outside. So the Eagles might try to do the same exact thing, because they run the same exact run formation on the toss sweep. So that is something to look out for. And then the third thing, obviously, I want to talk about is our offense. Now, what did we do wrong in the Vikings game besides the turnovers and playing bad on defense? On offense, what did we do wrong? I thought we did a disservice to our team by not spreading the football around. Did you notice that later in the game, when we started throwing to Austin Hooper, it opened up a lot more people, and then all of a sudden Ridley scored and Julio scored? That's how you open up a defense like the Eagles or the Vikings. They want us to just throw the Julio. That way, we become one-dimensional, and then they can tee off on Matt Ryan. So the way we keep them off balance is open it up, throwing. Open it up, hitting Hooper. Open it up, hitting Hardy. Open it up, hitting Sanu. Ridley took way too long last game to get into the offense, and that's something that we should remedy as well. The Eagles' weakness is their corners. They have an amazing defensive line. They have great linebackers, but those corners were getting shredded by guys like Terry McLaughlin on the Redskins, who's a rookie, and Vernon Davis, who's way over the hill, and Chris Thompson, who's an average pass-catching back. So, obviously, our receiving core is way more talented than that. And I think our quarterback is way more talented than that. So, we got to play to our strengths just like the Redskins did. Now, obviously, the Redskins lost in the second half and the Eagles came back. Why? Number one, because the Eagles are a great team. Number two, because the Redskins, their defense fell apart, and the Eagles, they basically played not to lose the game, and the Eagles dink and dunked their way back in the game, and they took those big shots. And when they took those big shots, the Redskins corners weren't fast enough. They bid on play actions, and they got beat deep. We're a better team guarding deep passes, so I don't think that part should be a problem for us. It's just the RPOs and when they try to run the football down our throats, we got to stop that. Also, in the second half of that game, Carson Wentz got out of the pocket a lot more and was making plays on the run. He's great at throwing on the run. That's something we got to look out for. Now, with his ACL, he's not going to take off, so we don't have to worry about that part. But he is deadly accurate on the run. And when he's on the run, it seems like guys like Zach Ertz and Alshon have great abilities of making plays on the fly when it breaks down. So those are guys we have to guard. Now, Falcons Nation, tell me which defensive players you're really looking out for this game to step up and have a bigger game. Grady had a good game. I think Dion did the best he could with the linebacker help that he got. I'm looking at Devondre Campbell. I'm looking at Vic Beasley. I think Alan Bailey did decent. I didn't see much from Rico. I thought a couple times in run defense, Rico was out of position, and he was late to the tackle. So I want to see if we fix the defensive gaps, linebackers running into the right gap, not missing tackles, limiting stupid turnovers, no block punts, and no fumbles in the red zones. Devontae Freeman, I'm looking at you. Please stop turning the ball over. If we don't turn the ball over, we will hang with this team, and it's at home, and the crowd will be behind us, which means that our blocking should be better, our defense should be better. Those things are a factor in the game. But to make the Eagles pay for that, we got to be clean, execute well, no turnovers. Spread the ball around. Play defense, keep everything in front of them, make them check it down, and rally to the football. And these are the keys to beat the Eagles, which I think we will do at home to move to 1-1. Falcons Nation, tell me what you think in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, like, comment, share, subscribe. And also, I just made a Twitter account. So my handle is @JazzyJeff, real T1. And so you can find me there. I have the link to my Twitter account in the description below. And as always, Falcons Nation, we rise up. Now let's go get them. All right, peace.